And hello and welcome everyone to another installment of the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. As always, I'm your host, Joel, and joining me is my partner in comic book crime, my good friend who is here with me on a special night. We don't usually go Saturday, but we are, shaking it up, seeing what it's like. Do you feel any different, Matt, doing this on Saturday?
No, not really. No, it's same time, just like a different day.
So, same shit, different day. I was going to start off by being like, it's a special Saturday edition of the comic multiverse. What makes it special? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. But no, we're glad we could come and do this because we took a couple weeks off and everything there for different reasons. So we're glad we can be here with you. Thank you for joining us if you've chosen to. We know you have a lot to do Saturday nights, a lot of options. And thank you, everyone who made the Legion of Superheroes retro hero video from 2 weeks ago, the most successful video in that series so far.
Yeah, people really like that.
That one kicked ass in numbers. People were all about that one. Who knew the real secret, Matt, was just talking about Legion of Superheroes. Apparently that was the secret code to YouTube success that neither of us have cracked just yet.
The secret in that algorithm that we never know how to use.
That's the secret sauce. Well, I think as we explained it, if we were ever going to do a Legion episode, now is the time because they're in Young Justice. The Great Darkness is a big thing in the comics right now.
Yeah.
So now is really the best time to, and a lot of nostalgia. That episode really let me know how old our fans are. They're like, oh, I remember watching this in 2004, 2006 when I was a kid with the Batman. I'm like, oh, you were a kid in 2004, 2006? I'm an old man. In a couple years, it's going to be creepy for me to hang out with you.
It already kind of is.
I might be schmurdy years old next month.
Yeah.
For people who have wondered the age difference on that one, I'm staring down the barrel of schmurdy and I don't know what to do with myself. Having a fucking existential crisis over here. But enough about me, Matt. How have you been?
Pretty good. Just working away really hard. I've been working hard, and so I haven't had much time to read a lot of comic books. But the ones I've read have been pretty good, and I've been what is it? In my free time, I've been painting my little Warhammer figures.
I saw. That's very cool.
And I primed. I took a whole day to prime them all and everything, and then I've got to put down all my base colors on them all and make sure I actually get them right this time.
That's one of those hobbies where I'm like, ooh, I got to be really careful about this because I'm sure if I got into it, I might not be able to get out.
Yes, it'll financially ruin you.
I'll never financially recover from this. We're all just Joe Exotic, never recover. Man, speaking of Joe Exotic, did you see in that last episode of The Boys, they made a Joe Exotic joke with Crimson Countess that was fucking hilarious?
Yeah, I love her and her chimp. Sanctuary and her song Chimps Don't Cry.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about me, where I'm like, yeah, man, a chimp sanctuary is a much better idea than a tiger sanctuary is all I'm saying.
I don't know. Chimps will fuck you up.
Fucking
rip your face off and shit. And
there was that video of the dude fucking with the orangutan.
Yeah, and they grabbed his shirt.
Yeah, don't fuck with that guy. There's been a lot of news recently of animals fucking people up. Did you see that thing on Twitter about that elephant that killed someone in a trampling and then crashed their funeral and fucked up the coffin?
That elephant fucking hated that woman. I don't know what that woman or her family did. She build on a secret burial ground or something.
Elephants never forget for revenge. I think that needs to be the next great action movie, Revenge Elephant. I don't know what that lady did to make that elephant
they got that movie coming out about that bear who ate all that cocaine and went crazy.
Yes.
So now you just need to do one about the elephant.
Oh, you see, it's got to be a whole cinematic universe of animals getting into trouble. You get that, you get the orangutan, you get that monkey that drinks the blue Powerade. I don't know if you saw that, but it's a monkey who keeps taking blue Powerade, only the blue stuff. He won't drink the red stuff.
Yeah, well, that stuff, it's like the super soldier serum to him. He drinks that and he's able to lift cars and shit.
Yeah, you got to watch out with that. The delicious electrolytes will refresh him and also make him intelligent so he can lead the ape uprising. This is how it starts. This is how you get a Planet of the Apes. This is how it happens. as the chat is reminding me too, we kind of had an E3 this week, but it wasn't E3 because
Yeah.
that didn't happen. So like there was 4 other smaller conferences.
Yeah, it was really funny because like I had planned to do live streams because I did a live stream of the Game Awards like at the start of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was going to do one for this, but I'd completely forgot when they were on. So like I ended up waking up and being like, oh, that happened.
Yep.
Oh,
Same.
okay.
It was actually kind of nice just to be like, all right, let me just go to IGN and work backwards through all the trailers.
Yeah.
What stuck out to you? What did you like?
Resident Evil 4.
It looks really cool. It looks like how I remember it, but also in the back of my mind, I'm like, this looks really serious. You guys know Resident Evil 4 was kind of campy, right? It was kind of like Evil Dead horror comedy.
Well, I think they're gonna fit it in with this, I guess, like quote unquote new canon, which is the remake of number 2 and 3, and then 4. And I imagine they'll keep continuing on to make it a bit more consistent with the later games.
Yeah, maybe we'll make a 5 and 6 that are good this time.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's what it's really all about, to try and just fix 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Man, Resident Evil 5 is a game that I played and beat several times just because I was trying to trick myself into, liking it.
Yeah. I was fine with it until like all like the end shit with like oh, Jill's here and she's being controlled by Wesker, and then Wesker's
the Matrix.
He's Neo, and then punching boulders and all that bullshit.
I'm like, it's still kind of good. It's still kind of fun. It's almost as good as 4. It's almost as good as 4. It's not as good as 4.
Yeah. And then number 6 just ruined. It's just terrible.
And number 6 is just one of the... They even tried to re-release that one and like fix what was wrong with it. I'm like, it's still broken.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we're going to try and like cram as many different game styles in here as possible. Here's something that feels kind of like Resident Evil, and here's something that kind of feels like Call of Duty, and here's something that kind of feels like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a real sad one. We're doing a new Dead Space. We saw some footage from the new Dead Space.
Yeah, they're remaking Dead Space as well, which looks cool. There's also a game coming out from the creator of Dead Space that's kind of looks like Dead Space called the Callisto Protocol.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, it looks really cool, but like,
right.
I'm like, yeah, this is literally just Dead Space.
I mixed that up and Scorn, which is another game that's been in development forever that looks like if H.R. Geiger made Doom.
Yes.
It's gross. This is a gross game.
It is. It looks really gross.
I'm fine with that though. I'm all on board with that. Flintlock was a new one I saw that looked kind of cool. You get an axe and magic and a gun and a little fennel fox buddy, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah, looks really cool.
I'd play the shit out of this. I'm an easy lay for that weird sort of like Napoleon era fantasy where there's like black powder weapons, but like magic and airships and stuff. It's a very, very specific genre, like that and Greedfall and the New World are like in this very weird, very small genre.
And and you say small because no one ever really does it, but when they do, it's always really interesting.
It is. I'm all about that kind of shit. Anything that lets me have a musket, cast spells, and have a tri-corner hat. I'm all about. That one was pretty good. Redfall looked fine, even though once again I'm like, oh, it's another co-op shooter that's gonna make me wish I had more friends, huh?
See, I didn't like any of those sorts of ones just because they all look the same. They're all like, okay, we've got a cast here that they have to be quirky because
they're quirky and marketable.
That's what we have to do because everything has to be that now. There's just too many of that, merch. Too much of that shit.
It is. You're not wrong. You're really not. Though I do think that mechanically that game had something interesting that I've not seen in any other vampire game, and I appreciate it. You can shoot the vampires as much as you want, but that only stuns them. You need to stab them in the heart to actually kill them.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool, yeah.
That is a cool system, and also something that behooves a 4-player multi-person game, because it's like, okay, you're on shooting duty, I'm on stabbing duty.
Yeah.
That way we don't all just, use up all our ammunition. That was pretty cool. We saw Starfield finally, the big Bethesda Microsoft thing. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of fucking underwhelmed by it.
It just looks like No Man's Sky. Like, literally everything they showed you, like someone did a comparison video, and it was literally all the stuff you can do in No Man's Sky. The only difference is it's got like maybe better graphics or like a different like art style.
I guess like the gameplay, I'm like, this is just Fallout 4 again. This is all the stuff that was already showing its age for Fallout
Yeah.
4, and there's no VAT system here. Where I'm
No.
like, oh my god, you expect me to play a Bethesda game with no VATs?
Yeah. Also, you can't actually fly your ship. Like it's a transition thing,
It's
like
a
a
rail
loading
shooter, yeah.
screen sort of thing. Yeah.
The ship customization, that's cool, but I
Mhm.
don't imagine that's going to be the whole game, nor does it look like
No.
it actually matters. It's,
No.
strictly cosmetic.
Yeah.
All I could think is like, when's Outer Worlds 2 coming?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That game was funny. That game, leaned into weirdness and absurdity, like Fallout used to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and it's funny because it was made by people who made Fallout New Vegas.
How about that, right? This, this is like two brothers stolen at birth and taken apart. One went one way, one went another. Captain Coon helping us out in the chat. Resident Evil 5 and 6 are fun when you play them with a friend, so you can have the dumbest fun with their bugs and jank. Yeah, probably. I never had anyone to play it with, but yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it for big games. It was kind of like really understated. There was no like big new things, no big new series. It just kind of was what it was.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the big games have already been announced, and they're coming out like next year sometime.
Yeah, and we're still feeling the effects of COVID too.
Yeah.
So like games that should be like able to be shown now can't be shown now.
Yeah, because there's not been any work done on them.
Because they're still fucking working on it, and people couldn't get enough done from home. And even if they did, good luck playing your next gen games on a next gen console, because most people still can't fucking get one.
Yeah, yeah.
Evil West looks fun. That one actually comes out fairly soon.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah.
You know what that looked like to me? I'm like, wow, this looks like a really great cult PS2 game that everyone talks about, only it's new and coming out now.
Yeah, you're so right about that. Yeah.
Exactly. This looks like something where it's like you would just pick it up off the shelf at Blockbuster and be like, oh man, that was pretty cool. Hey man, you remember that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the chat also reminding us Final Fantasy VII now has like 3 different spin-off games. There's the actual sequel, there's the Crisis Core remake, there's the Fortnite alike, and then there's like the chibi one.
Yes, and I'll probably be playing all of them. I'm playing through Strangers in Paradise at the moment, the Chaos one.
Gonna fucking kill Chaos.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
It looks fun, and I heard I think it was like Klemps who said it, where it's like, guys, enjoying things ironically in camp isn't just for North American audiences. Japan can also have fun with dumb bullshit too, and maybe that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play. Like I love being able to like just immediately change your class like on the fly.
That's good.
Which is really cool. And there's like lots of fun like combinations of classes you can have and everything, which is cool.
I am a big fan of the job system. I mean, I'm a guy who my favorite Final Fantasy is the fucking tactics games, for crying out loud. So I love me a good-ass job system.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I cannot believe they're remaking Crisis Core, the PSP game,
Kinda
all
makes
these
sense.
years later. It, I guess, does, because it's all like part of the same story.
Yeah, and it's like backstory and stuff for like Cloud and Zack and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, again, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, your cup runneth over.
Yeah.
And also, there's going to be another Final Fantasy 2 where you're basically playing a Witcher by the looks of it.
Yes, that's the new one that comes out next year, which looks really fucking cool. It's like the proper next-gen one.
It really does. It looks pretty fucking crazy, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, for Saints Row, that new one that comes out in October, November, I can't remember. They released the boss factory, so you can actually create a character now, save it, and then import it when the game comes out.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a great idea. Here's the problem, though, because it's like a new game and a new setting. They changed all the bosses' like default voices, so Robin Atkin Downs, the Cockney one, isn't there anymore.
Ah, really?
Yeah, Cockney boss was the best. Well, here's the thing. Male Cockney boss is gone. Female Cockney boss is in now.
Oh, what?
So there is an English voice. It's just only for the female. The male voice pack actually gets kind of like a southern drawl voice where I'm like, well, we're playing in Vegas, New Mexico, so I guess if you're going to have one person do a funny voice, that makes sense.
Still.
The British voice was the best. In my headcanon, that game is 100% funnier when the boss is British for no reason.
Yeah. No, he's a British boss of like an inner city American gang.
Again, the fact that it makes no sense only makes it funnier. I only picked the British voice in that because I just love him strolling on in like fucking Billy Butcher, and it makes no sense why he's British.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But yeah, so I guess there's your gaming news, everyone. I do promise we do actually have comic news. We are a comic podcast.
Yes.
And let's hop into that now because we got about 2 weeks worth of news to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest piece of news since we were away is they dropped a much more full Black Adam trailer.
They did, and tone for it's kind of all over the place.
It really, really is. I get the feeling that when they first made this project with The Rock, they knew they were going to go. They knew where they were going to go with it. Then 2016 to 2022 hit, and they're like, oh, fuck, guys, I don't think we can sell a fun action blockbuster for the whole family where the main character is a strongman dictator. Shit. It would seem in really bad taste now, huh? Wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, see, I don't ever think that was ever going to be what the Black Adam film was going to be, because that's the complete antithesis of what The Rock's whole persona is.
Absolutely.
Like,
he can't be that bad.
Yeah, he can never be a villain. Like, he tried that, and the result was The Mummy 2, which is a good movie, but shit character. Yeah.
And Doom, don't forget he was the bad guy in Doom.
Yeah, that's true.
I unironically fucking love him as the bad guy in Doom.
He's pretty good, yeah.
It's hilarious too because he got over as a wrestler being a bad guy, talking about candy asses and poontang pies.
Yeah, but like current day, The Rock hasn't been a villain for like years, decades.
Yep, too squeaky clean. The thing they've seemed to have settled on is like, well, he's a superhero who kills people, and I'm like, dude, have you not watched the other DC movies?
Everyone
like most of your
kills people.
Yeah, it's not what you think it is.
Yeah, if this was like the first DC film, I'd be like, okay, so you've set a precedent so that other heroes don't kill, but every other film had heroes just obliterating people.
Aside from maybe Shazam, and I guess they still technically maybe want him to be a Shazam villain, so maybe that will still work in their little bubble, but still, it's kind of hilarious for them to be like, I'm a hero who kills, I don't give a shit. I'm like, yeah, did you not see this Superman? Did you not see the Batman from this world?
Yeah, and it's even funnier that it's someone like Hawkman telling him that. And it's like, you're fucking Hawkman.
Yeah. Who is usually one of the most violent members of the Justice League. He has a spiked mace that he caves people's heads in with. Yeah. That being said, the JSA looks great. Their costumes look great.
They look fantastic.
It's almost like, shit, can we just get the JSA spin-off already, please?
It really, like, this trailer really, like, felt like, it's like, oh, so the JSA are, like, going to be, like, a huge part of this film, and this is probably going to be some sort of spin-off, like a jumping-off point for them to have a spin-off.
Absolutely. But yeah, it looks fine, but like you said, the morality of the movie and like the general tone they're going with seems all over the fucking place.
Yeah, and as I said on Twitter, it's 1,000% The Rock's doing of like why like Black Adam, even in the comics, was changed into more of sort of like a lighthearted hero.
Yep, to match, which is such a shame. Because he's fascinating when he is this weird, like, conflicted, I'm a dictator, but for the greater good, I defend my people, but I'm willing to kill. It's him and Dr. Doom are very much in the same boat of you never know if I'm going to be a good guy or a bad guy. I can literally flip at a moment's notice, and I do.
Yeah.
You never know what Black Adam you're getting. It's a shame, too, because it's like, movie fans are never going to get that really complex take on the character now, because the DC universe has been built up the way it is.
Yeah. Oh, and as well, because The Rock is playing him.
And because The Rock would never want to play a character who
if it was someone else, if it was like Mark Strong or someone, then we'd be like, we'd be getting a villainous Black Adam.
It's a shame we've already tapped Mark Strong multiple times in the DC universe. We can't keep doing it.
Yeah.
Do it a third time. It's the Mark Strong-averse now. He's just going to play everyone.
He's playing Savannah and Black Adam.
He's a talented guy. He can do it. I believe him. He's just a great actor. He's one of the greatest actors of our generation. Him and his spooky tooth. Now, speaking of villains, and we were, especially villains as the leads, around the same time, we heard news that the Thunderbolts movie that we all assumed had to have been coming down the pipeline in the MCU eventually
Yep.
is apparently entering actual real deal production, and it's starring basically everyone you thought it was going to star, plus also Bucky.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, he kind of makes sense.
I mean, he is the harder-edged one, and because he's not Captain America now, he can do more, morally complex Winter Soldier stuff. Of course, then again, wouldn't it be interesting if it is a movie about the Thunderbolts and they need a hero to go fight to basically be their heroic antagonist?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be interesting if that was Bucky?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, they try and tempt him to become like,
right.
Well, U.S. agent kind of shit the bed with being Captain America. Do you maybe want to have a chance at that?
Yeah, you want to join us? That would be cool.
Yeah.
So, some of them are kind of weird, too, where it's like, oh, hey, we got the new Black Widow and everything. Too. Like, what? Didn't she kind of learn a lesson by the end of that Hawkeye show? I wouldn't consider her evil by the end of that.
No. Well, then again, like, the Thunderbolts, like, I saw lots of people comparing them to the Suicide Squad, and they're nothing like the Suicide Squad, because the Suicide Squad are all people who are forced to work on this team, whereas this Thunderbolts team isn't really that. It's like people, it's like reformed villains, and like
a lot of them,
people who want to do it, and it's usually the higher ups who have no, like Thunderbolt Ross and all that, who have very gray morality.
And yeah, it's usually like people like they're getting something out of being on this team.
Yeah.
They're like they're holding something over their head, which is interesting in its own way. Where it's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see where they go with this one, especially because we have seen so many of these characters like Zemo, who is super enjoyable, and everyone else, where it's like, yeah, I'd hang out with them again for another movie.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
I need some more Pugh in my life. I'll take some Florence Pugh if you're giving Florence Pugh. I'll watch her because she's just lovely.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I think it's like a Vogue Britain piece. She does like a whole tasting board of famous British meals, and it's just her eating British food in a pantsuit and just being wonderful.
That's great. I know she does like cooking TikToks or something.
Oh, nice. Yeah, go check that out, everyone. If you haven't, it's very fun. I was just happy to take that ride. Also, be sure to check out Chris Evans playing with puppies while answering questions. That was another one that hit the internet this week. That was another very big one. He was so stoked on that one, he kept talking about it on Twitter, like, hey, you know what, when my puppy video comes out, you all gotta watch it. It's the most fun I've ever had in an interview. And I bet, because, when you do those big, media scrums and they ask you the same fucking questions a million times in 100 different languages.
Yeah, it'd be really tiresome.
Yeah, can I just have a goddamn puppy to pet, please, while I do this? That'd be fun. All right, what else we got going on this week? Oh, here was a really surprising one. The Spot was finally announced as the big bad for Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, kind of makes sense.
Again, a villain who is made up of portals. Portals are obviously going to be playing a huge part in this movie. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Though it is kind of funny, too, because it's like, man, the Spot has barely done shit in like 20 years worth of comic book stories, and now he gets this massive glow up to be the villain of one of the most hotly anticipated movies.
Which means in the upcoming Spider-Man stories, he's going to be a big threat again.
We're probably going to see the Spot come back in a big way. I think he's like in the Carnage book right now, I think someone was trying to tell me.
Okay.
Which is interesting, so clearly they're laying the groundwork for him to come back again.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can imagine some really awesome, animated fight scenes with the Spot.
Oh, yeah, you can get really creative with him, since everything, you can disappear stuff through his portals and bring it back through another portal. And
he's also one of the few villains who does not set off Spider-Man's spider sense, because if he starts a punch in another dimension, he can't feel it.
Yeah.
They're going to build that up, right? Like, oh, he doesn't set off my spider sense. He can attack me anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
Which has always been the thing about the Spot, where it's like, if you gave his power to someone who's not a fucking idiot, he'd be terrifying.
He would be, yeah.
But that's always been the thing. The Spot is the Spot's worst enemy because he is a dumbass.
I love that trope in comics where, like, a real dumbass gets, like, the God powers. Yeah.
Friggin' Absorbing Man and Mirror Master come to mind.
Yeah. Two people who, if they ever had any will to like apply their knowledge of what they have, they could end the entire fucking world.
They'd be unstoppable. Hell, Mark Waid even did that in his last Daredevil run, where he introduced the Coyote, who was a villain who stole the Spot's power so he could, like, smuggle people and drugs and everything all over the world, and he became, like, this massive cartel kingpin off the back of it.
Awesome. That's so cool.
It's a good idea, and again, like, that's Mark Waid saying, like, look, if any other person had the Spot's power, there'd be no stopping them. So it's actually probably a good thing this dummy has them.
Yeah.
Or else, they'd be fucking terrifying. All right. After that, Warworld Apocalypse to lead into the big return of Kal-El. I don't know if you knew this, anyone, but Superman is coming back to Earth. Shocking, I know.
Yeah, everyone thought he wasn't, and he was never going to come back. But yeah, no, of course he was.
Again, because so many people have never read a comic before in their life, apparently, and are super okay broadcasting this fact on the internet for everyone to see and hear.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's coming back. We've got the special issue, the Warworld Apocalypse, which is like the wrap-up ending. And then it goes into an event called The Return of Kal-El, which is going to, I think, take place over the Son of Kal-El book, Action Comics, and maybe something else. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I've really been liking what Philip Kennedy Johnson has been doing with Warworld Saga, and I'm interested to see what he's going to be doing with a more traditional, down-to-earth Superman.
Yeah, well, he's bringing Metallo is going to be the new villain. Like, he's doing what he did with Mongol for Metallo.
Oh, breathing fresh life into them. I like that. Yeah, man, he completely made me think differently about Mongol.
Yes, yeah. The way he's been building Mongol with all this lore and everything is so good.
I love that annual issue that Cy Spurrier helped co-write, where it's like, actually, here, let us contrast and compare the upbringings of young Superman and young Mongol, and their mothers especially.
Yeah, it was great, eh?
Yeah, it really was, where it's like, hey, you know what makes Mongol so terrifying? It's not that he's some sort of evil nihilist fascist. He is, but it's only because he was an idealist before this, and and Warworld and his parents literally beat it out of him.
Yeah.
And to, like, compare Mongol to that bully, to be like, man, if young Mongol had only met Superman earlier on in life, I bet Superman could have saved him from himself, couldn't he have?
Yeah, he'd be able to start some sort of Warworld soccer team.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, it's like, all right, normally you guys get it out by killing each other. Now we're going to get it out with soccer.
Yeah, they become, like, the best soccer team in all of the galaxy.
Now, look, you can still have soccer riots, though. Again, we're not expecting you to not have that. That comes with the territory. You call this a sucker riot? I'll show you a sucker riot. Let's take him to school, boys. But yeah, that sounds good. I'm really interested in that. Yeah, I mean, I think when you break it down, I think Warworld Saga will probably be on my best of list this year, unless it completely drops the bag at the end.
Yeah, I don't think it will, though.
No, I don't think so either. Also, I think when this is collected, this is going to be one of those evergreen Superman stories where you can be like, read Warworld Saga.
Yeah, it's going to be up there with like your stuff like War of Krypton and Up and Away, all the stuff that's like a definitive sort of Superman story, because it's so different but so the same as well.
And you really don't need to know much to pick it up.
No.
It's pretty damn self-contained, which is something that Superman books have not been for a while.
Yeah.
So that's fun. What else we got going on here? Tim Drake Robin will actually be getting a brand new solo series from Megan Fitzmartin. That's the woman who, of course, was writing the Tim Drake backup stories, and I think wrote that Pride special with him too, which they actually collected into a thing that came out this week, which was just Tim Drake special, where you can catch up on all the Batman Urban Legend anthology. I was gonna pick it up, but I also kind of had to laugh to myself too that they just call it Tim Drake special, not Robin special or Red Robin special. I'm like, you don't even know who he is anymore, DC.
This guy is special.
He's here. He's really special, Tim Drake, and we want you to read all about him. I guess this makes sense because apparently the next Batman run will also be featuring Tim Drake as Robin. Apparently that's a big thing Zdarsky wants to do. Yeah,
he's coming back as Robin, which is really funny because technically Damian came back as Robin at the end of that Shadow War series.
Yeah, but not for long, though, because they're going to be fighting in September.
Yeah.
Which, Jesus Christ, get your fucking Robins in order, guys. Yeah, I don't know, it should be interesting. I know, what is it, that this is like a controversial thing now, because it's like, they had Tim Drake come out as bisexual. I've always said, if they were going to do that, he should have had a series to explore it with from the jump. It shouldn't have been littler stories and urban legends. If you were going to do it, you really should have committed to it out of the gate. This feels like a late commitment is what this feels
especially when like the urban legends tales can maybe be considered like out of continuity because they're in like an anthology book.
There's a lot of picking and choosing where it's like, okay, this Tim Drake thing is canon because we're spinning that off into a story. This Azrael thing is canon because we're spinning that off into a story. What about everything else?
Probably not.
Pick and choose, have what you want. It's all good. I'll definitely be picking up the first issue because first issues usually always do great, especially something like this that everyone's kind of going to have their eyes on.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell apparently is going to be penning a story. He's going to be penning a Sergeant Rock and the Monsters miniseries.
Yeah, I got really excited about this. I love Sergeant Rock.
Yeah. Pizza Papa writes his comics. Comic Papa, if you will. Everybody gonna read them. Yeah, this seems fun. Again, has Campbell written anything else? Is this this can't possibly be his first writing thing?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I would have to assume he's written something, maybe an Evil Dead comic or something.
That makes sense. Yeah. Again, it's been a long time since we've had a big celebrity writes a comic. I know L.R. Stein wrote a Man-Thing, and what is it? We had Captain Mystery Box and his kid writing something as well, J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, CM Punk writes a bunch of comics as well.
That's right, he does. Hasn't written for a while, but yeah, he wrote Shang-Chi and he wrote Drax.
Yeah.
He can't do that now because he's back wrestling. He's AEW champion right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also tore his freaking pec, unfortunately, which means
I heard about that. Yeah.
We got to do a whole interim champion thing. So by the end of the month, it's either going to be Jon Moxley or Tanahashi from New Japan, which I'm pretty damn sure it's going to be Jon Moxley. They're not going to have a guy who's got to keep coming back and forth from Japan be their champ.
Yeah.
But that also ties into a bigger story from New Japan where Jon Moxley wrestled all the greats in Japan except for Tanahashi. So they're finally going to have that. That's Forbidden Door, everyone, at the end of the month. I'm very excited for that. Even though half the AEW roster has either come down with injuries or had other wrestling companies be like, no, we're pulling our stars. You can't have Andrade and the Lucha Brothers because of weird Mexican wrestling promotion rules.
Oh, jeez.
And you can tell they're pissed off because they're getting pissed off in English about it. I am so mad I'm speaking English right now. To register my disgust. But yeah, Sergeant Rock should be cool. Been a long time since we've got a Sergeant Rock story.
Yeah, it has been.
And I love me a good weird war story, a good paranormal war story. It's a good mix.
Yeah, and Bruce writing it should be kind of funny as well.
Yeah, you would think the guy would know horror and would know tongue-in-cheek comedy.
Yeah.
Now, moving on from there to probably the biggest story that's been developing in the 2 weeks that we're gone. We joked about this in past episodes, but I think this is officially the point where it all stops being funny. Ezra Miller, star, quote unquote, of the upcoming Flashpoint movie, has basically been a one-person crime wave for the last few months, punching out karaoke singers, breaking into old people's houses in Hawaii, and just generally being a nuisance. Well, this story took an even darker turn this week as multiple allegations of grooming underage women and maybe kidnapping of a woman too, who she's 18, but her parents are like, no, she was definitely kidnapped by this guy who we know is violent. And it's like, well, maybe it's not as bad as all that. She seems to have ran away from these parents who seem to be kind of shitty, even if it did bring her into the arms of a person who's also violent and kind of shitty. But now Miller apparently for some reason took to Instagram to taunt the police and say that they cannot be caught.
I don't know. I just can't. Is this is it some form of advanced ARG for the Flash?
It's too insane to be real is what it is, where it's like, how the fuck is this actually happening? Bland man, thank you for helping us out. Insert Flash missing vanishes in crisis joke. Oh, they disappeared in a crisis, all right, in a fucking big crisis.
Yeah, holy shit, at first it was they were just wreaking havoc through Hawaii, throwing chairs at people, and that was bad enough. And then all this other shit came out, and holy shit.
Oh boy. The main fallout from this is apparently, according to Deadline, again, I don't know if anyone else reported this, but Deadline certainly reported it, is that the internal talks at Warner Brothers is we are done with Ezra Miller after this. We will not be working with them going forward. But I guess we still have to release this goddamn Flash movie after all the time and money and rewrites and new directors we fucking pumped into it.
What really surprised me was how delayed their response was.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't talk about any of the other stuff with him punching out women and breaking into people's homes or anything. And it was only this that they seemingly released half a statement sort of thing.
Yep. This is totally, again, man, the fucking boys nails this so well with Vought, where they're just these evil corporate overlords. Wait and see. I bet it can't get worse. Hopefully people will forget. Oh my God, it's getting worse. Oh my God, what do we do? Fuck. It only got worse. Jesus Christ. And it's even funnier too, because Warner Brothers is really the goddamn DC universe in the movies it's the most cursed.
They ran over a witch or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's cursed their family from here to eternity. Because they're we're going to make a big deal about what moral, upstanding people we are by editing that nasty woman Amber Heard out of Aquaman. You don't have to worry about her, everyone. What about Ezra Miller and all the crimes there? It's going to be harder to get them out of the movie. And, we're kind of putting a lot on this. We're really only about taking moral stands when it's easy, you see. And also, it's really much easier to take things away from a woman who's unpopular right now. So, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Also, what about Leto and Leto's Cult Island? What are you going to do? We're over here. We're making new Joker stuff. Joker 2, it's going to be a musical with Lady Gaga. Everyone, catch the fever. Which, seriously, can we talk about that for a minute? Joker 2 is going to be a fucking musical.
That's going to confuse all of the gamers.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait for that. I am so excited for the future that we'll soon be living in, wherein pretentious film bros and 13-year-old 5 edgy me Joker fans are going to have to defend the fact that I've always loved musicals and I've always loved show tunes, and the Joker is the best musical show tune movie ever, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's going to be so fun. In fact, it's almost a great joke in and of itself, really, is what it is. Yeah,
it's so good.
It's the best joke. It's funnier than anything from that first movie. And you know what? Here, I had a lot of problems with the Joker movie, but I will freely admit the weird, song choice, super on the nose needle drops where it's send in the clowns, the clown named Carnival. That was the only thing I genuinely kind of liked about that first movie. So I really cannot wait for them to, lean into that 100%. In fact, hey, what clown and laughing theme songs do you want? I think we need Laughing in there by the Guess Who. We need I Started a Joke by the Bee Gees. We need that in there.
What ones have been in Scorsese films? Because it's obvious that Todd Phillips is just ripping off Scorsese films.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, all of those. I mean, hey, Scorsese movies have fucking great soundtracks. I actually rewatched Casino and Goodfellas on Netflix while I was working. I'm just God damn, what amazing soundtracks.
Yeah, they're pretty good soundtracks.
Goodfellas especially, it's just here's 4 great songs back to back to set the mood within the span of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because again, the music lets you know about the person's state of mind.
Yes.
Also, hell, I'll even go a step further. I'm actually kind of interested to see what Lady Gaga could potentially bring to Harley Quinn, because obviously that's probably who she's going to play.
Yeah, a version of Harley Quinn. And all I can imagine is her doing her voice from that Gucci film she was
House
in
of
with.
Gucci.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Oh my God, Mr.
And I just
J,
laughed because I know she got
God.
awards for that and everything. And I'm
Sure
really?
did.
Seriously?
The best part about that too is, when I do this voice, it's not really a put on because I'm kind of from the part of the world that, Harley Quinn is supposed to be from. I'm kind of weirdly from the similar background, so it's actually not weird when I do it. Yeah, that's gonna be a hilarious mess. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. Yeah, as Functorial says, I hope awful anti-woke people have to suddenly defend musicals. Also, yes.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I cannot wait for it. Yeah, I love musicals and I love show tunes so much. You know, Singing in the Rain, fucking love. It's my jam, bro. All about it. Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's great. Great soundtrack of my life. Also, too, I legitimately, unironically love musicals. I love the big musicals. I love the fucking small-ass fringe musicals, like goddamn Repo, the Genetic Opera, and like Across the Universe and shit like that. I love that shit.
I bet you love this week's Boys episode then as well.
Yes, absolutely. When they stopped and did a goddamn Judy Garland number, I'm like, fuck yeah. In fact, they kind of did two musical numbers because they did that, and then in the new Ms.Marvel, they also did kind of like a Bollywood mashup, but with like a popular American standard. And I'm like, oh yeah, see this is the culture stew that Ms.Marvel is all about.
Yeah.
Also, it's definitely the Nega Band, right? We're in agreement. It definitely has to be the Nega Band.
Oh yeah, it's something like that, and she's definitely an Inhuman, like I've been saying the whole time. But people are quick to say that she wasn't because she can't stretch, but it's obvious she can. And
could be an Inhuman, could also maybe be a Kree thing, because I know, what is it, Star, who's a woman who we saw in the trailer, she's the woman who speaks in sign language and everything. Star is a character from the newer Captain Marvel run who was like a Kree scientist who was working on experimenting with humans.
Yeah, well, they do mention that the power is coming from within her and being focused by the band in that last episode, so yeah.
I think they're going to surprise us where they end up going with it. I really do. Bland Man helping us out again. Thank you. Can't wait for cops to look at me funny in the theater again while I watch Joker 2. Did that happen to you? Is that a real... What the fuck are the cops doing with their time? Yes, we need you two, Officer Jenkins, Officer Murphy, to go stake out the 10 o'clock showing of the Joker. Make sure nothing happens.
Look for single white men.
Watch out for single white males. Give them a very hard time. Magmaster saying, watch Bob's Burgers movie. It's got great musical numbers into it. Man, Bob's Burgers is one of those things where that's like another hole in my geek armor. I have enjoyed every episode I have watched when I caught it on TV, back when I had TV, but I never finished it. Now they actually have like a pretty goddamn good-looking theatrical movie, and I feel like I should support it because that's the sort of thing I like to support.
I've only seen clips of it, and every clip I've seen, it's like, that's really funny, but I've never seen a full episode of it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I remember when it debuted on Fox, because it was like one of the last years I still had TV and everything to it. Blandman saying I'm Hispanic, so that might have something to do with it. Yeah, they have the little cards where it's like white, darker shade of brown, dangerous.
That Family Guy sketch, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of Family Guy aged poorly. That one's shockingly fucking accurate. How the fucking police think, but yeah, again, Bob's Burgers, I remember when it aired on like Fox back when like the last couple of years when I still had satellite, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. A little weird and outside the box, though. I imagine this will be a one-season wonder at Fox that will get a cult following like so many other shows have. Nope, fucking going strong all these years. I was wrong. Good on you, show, for proving me wrong. Never have I been more happy to be wrong about a show. Good on you guys. All right, and our last piece of news this week, this is kind of a sad one, but Tim Sale, legendary comic book artist, passes away at the age of 66. That's a sad one.
Yeah, and it was so quick as well, because I think a couple of days before, we heard that he got admitted to hospital. So I'm not sure if they've announced like how or why he was admitted or why he passed or anything, but yeah, he was just admitted to hospital and then he died.
Yeah, he seemed like the sort of dude who was going to pull through on it, but yeah, that's a real tragedy. That's, hey, got to tell the people you love them while you can, because you never know when something like this might happen.
Yeah,
that's a real bummer. But a man left an absolute legacy of amazing art behind that will not be forgotten.
Yeah,
I mean, especially now too. Obviously with what is it, Long Halloween getting the whole movie treatment there and everything.
And it's getting re-released in October, or there's like a special or something.
Yeah, like the big yeah, that's right, we talked about this. I'm like, really, why are we going back to this? But still, either way, that was pretty fucking cool. Superman for all seasons,
Hmm.
the Kryptonite edition and everything else I think is still out there that you can get. But yeah,
Yep.
obviously, dude leaves behind a hell of a legacy. Spider-Man Blue, of course, which I
Yes.
know is some people's favorite Spider-Man
Yeah,
story.
everyone was talking about that.
And it's a story that wouldn't even have been half as good if not for the art that really evokes a time and place, and evokes a certain feeling.
Yeah.
That's what I would say is the real power of his art, to evoke a feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, R.I.P. Tim Sale, will truly be missed. If you've not checked out any of his work, you should definitely check it out.
Definitely, definitely.
uh, Alrighty then. So I guess with that done, we can talk about what we read this week. It was a lighter week, thankfully, which means maybe we won't be talking forever about this.
Yeah.
Where would you like to begin, Matt?
Let me have a look at what I read this week. What I read. Oh well, we'll talk about Superman Son of Kal-El since we talked about that just a little bit before.
Yes, we did. My video's not up yet. I just recorded the audio before we got on here. But yeah, this was a really great episode or issue. In fact, I would say it's probably my favorite issue of this series in a while, because it ties together several really interesting threads.
It does, doesn't it?
Sure does. We actually see John dropping off the Firebase post-human who he had saved at the end of the previous issue from Bendix's control. Now he basically knows how Bendix's rising plan is working and everything. And they do something really interesting here, Taylor does, where John is like, I really sympathize with these post-humans because I know firsthand what it's like to be kidnapped and tortured and try to be
Yep.
turned to the dark side and everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is what happened to you. That happened so long ago, and so many writers are afraid to even mention that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's why John got aged up. I'm like, wow, Taylor, you not only did it, but you made really good sense of it too,
Yeah, it's almost like if you just let it happen.
naturally and organically. Yeah, you can actually do something pretty fucking cool with it.
Yeah.
Crypto comes back into the story, which I guess they need to do because Super Pets comes out at the end of next month, so they got to get him in as many stories as they can.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense he'd come back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has a great thing, too, where they're like, oh no, the safe house is under attack. Bendix is trying to kill us again. Oh, no, wait, it's just the dog.
It's just the dog that doesn't understand what's happening.
No, just comes running on in as friggin' dogs do, and it's very, very adorable. They know if they're going to try and get Bendix without starting a war or an international incident, they're going to have to actually get him saying something incriminating, and the only way to do that is to go after his ally Lex Luthor. But obviously, John and them aren't going to be let into the building, so they let brand new rich Nightwing do it.
Yeah. Again, it's really cool seeing John and his friends use a Lois Lane investigative journalist way of dealing with something. Again, we could have had this issue where he teams with Batman and Jay, and they sneak into LexCorp and everything, and they got to go through the traps and everything. But we'll just send the now rich Dick to deal with Lex, and Lex will, because Lex wants more revenue streams and wants to use Dick to up his own
Fix
game
his
and
PR,
fix his PR and everything.
It ties in beautifully too with Nightwing, because Nightwing's whole reason for being there is hey, ever since I tried to fix Bloodhaven, people keep trying to kill me. Can I get some of those rising super weapons maybe? Can you hook a fellow rich guy up, Lex? And I'm like, damn, that's really fucking smart. I also like that Lex is being nice to Dick in this story, but you can see that he's seething under the surface, where it's ooh, you got money from a guy who still worked as a butler even though he was a billionaire. That makes me fucking sick. I could never. Also, too, unlike Bruce, who gives money to the community but does it like a rich guy, by making the smartest choice possible. You're burning through your fortune like you actively want to be poor again. Ooh, can't fucking stand you guys. It's good, isn't it? Again, we haven't really seen Dick in a situation like that, him having to rub elbows with other rich guys now that he is a rich guy.
Yeah, it's really quite cool.
They eventually find out that Bendix has a senator in their back pocket that, they're hoping that if they can out this guy via the truth and on national television, maybe that will finally, deliver a big hit to Bendix. Unfortunately, what happens is shit goes really sideways really quick.
Yeah, apparently the senator is under control of Bendix. He's got the little brain thing in.
he is a post-human weapon, which I really liked, like the subtle, not so subtle nuances of that, where it's like, oh, so you mean to tell me that within the American government there exists people who not only support and sympathize with a fascist dictator like Bendix, but oh, they are actual creations of such a messed up system.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy, you're saying the quiet parts loud now, Taylor. And it goes even further because Bendix, this is the best part of the issue, where Bendix literally explains to John what the Rising is all about. And it's like, it's not just about selling super weapons to the highest bidder. The fact is, you never consider that people around the world already believe in me and believe in my plan to try and reshape the world, via superhuman muscle, independent of you and your superhero morality, because, they see you as a freak and a monster because you're a half human, half alien. And, they wouldn't let you save them from a burning building even if you were the only one. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And also, he's an openly bisexual man too, so that's also the subtext on that too, that some people are so married to their own hatred they'd happily get in bed with a monster like Bendix just so they wouldn't have to deal with John. And I'm like, fuck, that is a power punch of a right, is what that is.
It's great tying it all together, and a lot of people probably won't get that until it's revealed a little bit more down the line.
No, yeah, that's like a real understated thing. That's like, oh, Bendix is saying one thing, but he means another thing.
Yeah.
Is what he does. And Jay swoops on in to save him by activating his phase powers, and he does. Unfortunately, he gets unmasked in doing so, meaning the media and the world now know who he is.
Yeah, which, again, is also going to complicate, his and John's relationship, because now... because that's not widely known, but I guess, now's the chance they can do that.
Oh, people are going to find out, and their relationship is going to be under a microscope now. But also, Jay is going to be in the firing line now because, as we found out just a couple issues ago, Batman thought he was bad because of his relationship with the revolutionaries and the crimes they've committed, which means the world is going to know that. And Bendix is also going to know the son of the woman he deposed to become president is alive and out there and working against him.
Yeah, he has his mother, I think, hostage or something. Yeah. So that's going to complicate things.
And I'm like, oh shit, wow, damn, Taylor, you were building up to all of this, weren't you?
Yeah. So he doesn't let things lie.
Yeah, like I enjoyed the book, and I'm like, yeah, the last couple issues have been a little aimless and everything, and then I read this where I'm like, oh no, these were all breadcrumbs leading to something big. All tied together.
It was this and Obi-Wan this week that did the exact same thing, where it's like, oh, we're tying it all together because it all makes sense now.
Yeah. How good was Obi-Wan this week too?
So good.
So good, I'll even forgive that the de-aging tech made Hayden Christensen look even older.
I don't even think there was even any de-aging tech on him.
I think he was just there. Yeah, you
I think
they
just put him in that fucking wig of the rat tail and just it's fine. It's fine. He had a hard week. I guess so.
The moral of that episode is so wonderful, where it's like, and Anakin could still never beat Obi-Wan because he's so obsessive, like a dog with a bone. He can only concentrate on one thing at one time, and that's how Obi-Wan always wins, because despite Obi-Wan's best effort, Anakin was not a good student, and he never learned anything Obi ever tried to teach him.
And it's great because we see that also again in A New Hope, where Obi-Wan sacrifices himself to allow Luke and the others to escape, because Vader wanted them as well, but he wanted Obi-Wan as well, and he got him.
He knew. Yeah. He falls for the same trick 9 years later.
Yeah.
Because he's always fallen for the same trick, because Obi-Wan could read him like a fucking book.
Yeah, and then Luke does it to him again in Return of the Jedi, where he goes up to the Death Star with him and lets the rebels blow up the fucking shield generator.
You can't argue it's not consistent. It's very consistent.
Yeah.
In fact, in that training montage, too, at the end of it, Obi-Wan's basically like, and this is why you're still kind of a Padawan. It really reframes the conversation they have in A New Hope, where it's like, oh, when I left you, I was but the student, but now I am the master. Only a master of darkness, Darth. Where it's like, look, no, you were never.
No.
You tell yourself that, but you and me both know the score.
Yeah.
Which, again, makes that scene even better when it's like, strike me down and I will become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Which again, what do we think? What's the over-under on that last episode? We're going to be seeing Force Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Because he needs to learn to do the thing, right?
Yeah. That's why he went... one of the reasons why he went into exile, to learn how to do that, as well as looking after Luke.
Because again, they've been signposting that forever, where he's basically praying to Obi-Wan. I'm so lost. I need some guidance. I need to hear from you.
Yeah, and he's gonna go back to Tatooine because Reva will have survived her like gut stab, and is going after Luke because she learnt from that message that Bale sent her.
Yeah, I love they canonize that too, where it's like, man, people in Star Wars sure survive fatal injuries a lot. Yeah, revenge will do that to you.
Yeah, it'll keep you alive.
Hunger for revenge will do that. And somewhere in the universe, freaking Darth Maul's ears are burning. Yep. Yep, sure does. Me and my spider legs. Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, as the chat saying, Vader really is a one-trick pony. Yeah, kinda. And he doesn't learn it until too late.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah. Now, that being said, he does kind of, in wrestling terms, get his win back in the fight with Reva, where it's like, yeah, but I am a good warrior, and I am a good Force user. I don't even need to pull out my lightsaber to fight you.
No, yeah. That was really cool.
I am still on a whole other level than you Inquisitors, though. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
You guys are like half Jedis and half Sith. You guys can't even do a quarter of what I can do. The dark side of the Force holds many mysteries. But yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I'm liking it. Yeah, the finale is going to be really good. And honestly, I'm kind of sad it's over with this episode. I'm like, shit, it's really done next week.
Yeah. I know there's been... I don't think there's any weight to them, but I heard someone talking about season 2, but I don't think they actually plan on it. It'll kind of ruin everything about it.
It is... Yeah, because season 2, it's like, okay, now you're really fucking pushing it at this point.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it's finishing up, and yeah, I'm kind of sad that it's going to be finishing because it's been so good.
It has been. Apparently, the numbers, I have to wonder, a lot of people theorized, apparently Ms. Marvel's first day numbers were not great, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, do you think this happened because this is the first time they put a Marvel thing next to a Star Wars thing?
I think, yeah, not just that, but just like a Star Wars thing that's like so popular. It's fucking Obi-Wan show.
Arguably the hugest one they've done.
Yeah, so I absolutely think so. They probably should have moved Ms. Marvel to like a Friday.
Yeah, I really hope they don't punish Ms. Marvel because of that. I hope they realize that this is a learning experience where it's like, okay, don't release 2 of these at once, actually.
I do feel the people running Disney Plus are a little bit smarter than like Netflix, whereas like if this happened on Netflix, Ms. Marvel would already be cancelled.
Yeah, they're like, we're already canceled. The algorithm has spoken.
Yeah.
Man, fucking
you gotta eat a cupcake. You gotta eat a cupcake in the first 12 minutes.
God damn, that Barry scene only gets truer and truer, doesn't it?
There's perfect timing on it as well.
Absolutely. And how good was that last Barry episode, too?
It's so good. I can't wait for tomorrow's episode.
Oh, I thought it was done. I thought that was the final episode.
Oh, fuck, really? Was it?
I think that was the last episode.
Fuck them for leaving it on that cliffhanger.
Because that was 8 episodes, but also, like, fuck, that's a,
God damn it. I haven't been paying attention to what episode is, like, what number. I've just been watching them, but, oh, God, now I'm angry.
Yeah, I know. Again, a show this funny that is also this dark and, like, heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching and everything.
Yeah.
Also, Hader, like, directed, like, those last 3.
Yeah, and they're so good. That bike chase he had in the 5th episode.
Oh my God, when is he going to get to direct, like, the next big movie?
Yeah.
Also, I stand by what I said. In an alternate world, Bill Hader might be the best Joker because we see him falling to pieces in this episode and laughing and crying and everything else. I'm like, just put him in white face and a green mop of hair on him and he'd be perfect.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, how he has this, like, I'm funny, but I also have this darkness inside me, too.
Yeah.
Hell, his girlfriend even kind of has her own Harley moment in this, too, doesn't she?
She really does, yeah.
She really does. Holy shit. But yeah, so that was, shit, what were we even talking about? Superman. Superman, yeah. Superman is good, and those 2 shows are good, too. You should watch them. All right, what should we talk about next?
Will you choose one?
Okay. The best book I read this week, I was genuinely surprised by this. This one blew me away, and I think a lot of other people got blown away by it. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, #1 from Lanzig and Kelly.
I haven't read this one yet.
You should. This is shockingly feel-good in a way a Captain America story has not been in a very long time.
Okay.
It's Steve Rogers moving back to Brooklyn to his old apartment he grew up in with his mother.
Okay.
The idea being Sharon is away on a special mission, and Steve is like, you know what? With Sam out there being Captain America too, I think I can finally afford some time. For me, I've been Captain America so long, I have lost touch with Steve Rogers.
Okay.
I need to like learn to be a human guy again. And I'm like, that's so fucking good. And also
Yeah.
really fucking true, because like from Secret Empire onward, he never left the costume.
Yeah, he's been constantly in the costume, constantly like on the run from the government
Yep.
because of some fucking thing, and yeah, he hasn't had time to be Steve Rogers.
This is him laying down roots, and what he does is so awesome. He's like, yeah, I go jogging, you know, around the island. I bring the shield with me. People stop and take pictures, and, you know, I do it because when they're looking at the shield, they're not looking at me, because it's always been my idea. I want people to see themselves in the shield. It's their symbol as much as it is mine.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's nice. My favorite thing is he takes a drawing class at the community college.
Oh, nice. They're bringing him back into his art roots.
Yeah, which, man, a lot of young people in the comments section thought that was a movie thing. I'm like, no, he did that in the comics for years. He was an artist, and he's not just taking regular drawing, he's taking digital art.
Oh, they need to make a reference to that time him and Peter Parker made a comic book.
Yes, oh my god. It's so funny. It's him and like a bunch of 20-year-olds with like piercings and blue hair and everything. And they're like, Mr. Rogers, you know, you're pressing too hard on that tablet, you're gonna break it. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm old, and like most old people, I press too hard on devices. I still think I'm doing typewriters. And they're doing life drawing, and they have a naked model, and he's too shy to look at the naked model for long.
Oh, that's great.
And they go out to like baseball games, and Steve's like, man, you know, it's really nice to like hang out with regular people again. All my friends have been like gods and atomic monsters for so long.
Yeah.
It's nice to get back in touch with the regular, everyday, salt of the earth people who I regularly try and save. And really, how can I save them if I don't know them and I divorce myself from them?
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
It is. It really is great. We also find out that Steve does a ham radio thing where him and a bunch of World War II vets talk to each other over ham radio.
That's so cool.
It's very fun, and he's like, while he's doing that, he hears a weird signal, you know, a weird code that him and all his old friends need to crack, and they do, because they're like rocket scientists and Enigma engineers and shit.
Nice. Oh, I'm guessing that's that code that's on like the cover.
Yes, that is the one. That's also because the code is connected to the Sentry game, which is the big thing that Sam has been dealing with as well.
Yes, yeah.
A bunch of rich and powerful, shadowy people playing a game for who's going to control the 21st century.
Yeah, wow.
Whatever that means. And Bucky and Cap team up to fight a new version of the Destroyer, who, of course, was the son of the original Union Jack.
Yep.
And obviously Steve is all pissed off where it's like, that costume doesn't belong to you. I take people, you know, perverting symbols of my friends really seriously. I don't know if you've noticed, but like for the last 8 years, I've just been basically dealing with copyright issues. So take that suit off or I'm going to kick your ass. And yeah, apparently we discover too that, Bucky may actually already be playing the Sentry game. We just don't know.
Ooh.
And apparently this also ties into what Kelly and Lanzig did in that Kang the Conqueror book, because we saw an image with Bucky standing over Cap. So apparently they've been planting the seeds for this for a bit.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's good shit. Man, I can't believe we're in a time when there's like 2 really good Cap books right now.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I imagine like coming up we're going to get like a big crossover with them. And
Oh, yeah, you know, that's definitely where they're going. But yeah, wow, Captain America Sentinel of Liberty. If you haven't read a Captain America book in a long time, make this the one, because it like ticks so many boxes.
Nice.
It felt nice where it's like, oh yeah, this is like coming home again. This is like a warm pair of slippers. Captain America hasn't been like this in so long.
Awesome.
I think he even says in the book, like, I can finally unclench now for the first time in a long time. And I'm like, yeah, that has been like the last 2 runs of Captain America, just him considerably clenched.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say the book is being, like, rah patriotic. It's basically Steve being like, look, the world is fucked up, but I don't also need to be fucked up.
Yeah.
I am practicing Captain America self-care is what I'm doing. It's what you gotta do. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Nice.
All right. What else did you have, Matt?
I had Iron Man issue 20.
Oh yes, this looked like a pretty big issue. I saw the Discord talking
What?
about this one. Actually, yes, Discord, I'm there sometimes. You don't know when I'm there, but I'm
They weren't
there.
really talk. They were talking about how like some people don't like the armor, which I don't
Right.
understand because the armor's like the classic comic armor.
I mean, the way I always feel with Iron Man's armor is like, if you don't like it, wait 5 minutes because they're gonna change it again.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this issue was kind of, I wouldn't really class it as a filler, more of like a palate cleanser after the 19 issue Korvac saga we had.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Tony's fresh out of rehab. He spent 3 months in rehab and sort of found himself again and everything. And he gets picked up by Patsy. And in classic Tony Stark fashion, he gives her a letter, and the letter is basically asking Patsy to marry him.
Oh, yes, because we're gonna get a big wedding soon, aren't we?
And she wants some time to think about it, which Tony takes as like her saying no. So he throws himself into his work, and he ends up developing a computer called the 5150, which does fucking everything under the sun. It's running like computing simulations, giving
That's
Wi-Fi to
also
the city, and yeah.
that's also a real thing too. 5150. I believe that's a crime in the L.A. police call log there
Yeah.
for like violent mental illness or something like
I
that.
think so, yeah, something like that.
Because I've seen many people with shirts that say 5150 on it.
So he ends up developing this computer, and he wants to like show the world what it is. The world's a bit more interested in like, oh, his mental health and how he feels about Michael Korvac saving him before committing suicide and all that sort of stuff. But he doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to talk about this new stuff, and he's going to show off the computer by having it play chess against Chet the gorilla, who's a hyper intelligent gorilla that Empire State University has given like an IQ of like 170. And Chet's more than happy to play, but he's really there to like network, and he's really doing it to network because he's like meets Tony for the first time, and he's like, oh, I want to like do some consulting for Stark Unlimited. I love computer programming and all that. And Tony kind of brushes him off and like, I'm not really part of the company anymore. Go talk with someone else. And Chet ends up getting really mad that he ends up trying to cheat at the chess game, and he ends up getting even more mad because the computer inadvertently like gloats over him losing. So he gets extremely mad and ends up attacking Tony, and he actually ends up hacking into Tony's suit, into the boss AI through the Wi-Fi that the 5150 is giving off.
Right.
And he shuts down everything in Tony's suit except Tony's roller skates.
And which he had sometimes.
Yeah, so Tony has to use roller skates to escape this gorilla, who then chases him on a moped. And he ends up like jousting with the gorilla and fighting him and like defeating him and everything. And while all this is happening, Patsy is trying to is wrestling with the ideas like, does she want to like marry Tony? Does he need fixing? You know, she weighs up like her previous marriages to like Damon Hellstrom and how she ended up in hell and
shit, that's right.
All that stuff, all the stuff that happened in like the 60s and 70s with her. And she
continuity, man.
And she ends up declining marrying Tony for now. I think they do maybe get married a little later on.
I was gonna say they've announced the wedding. I'm pretty sure I saw the cover. That's gonna be a story.
But they've declined. She declines that now and leaves Tony. And he, throughout the whole issue, he's been getting phone calls that he keeps declining, and he eventually answers it. And it's this guy called Vic Martinelli. And we find out him and Tony haven't talked for a while, but Vic was given a really important job, and that was to look after the 10 Mandarin rings.
Oh shit! Wow, they haven't touched that in forever.
And he's having trouble with them at the moment, and Tony needs to come and help him.
That's cool, yeah. Because I mean, if you're gonna be writing an Iron Man arc, obviously you got to do something with the 10 rings at some point. That's like, you know, having Daredevil have his secret identity outed. You got to do it like once a run.
Yes, yeah.
Damn. Again, everything you tell me about that Iron Man run sounds cool.
It's so
hell.
Cool. It's so good.
And not a lot of people are talking about this. Is like Joshua Williamson's Flash, where it's like, oh, there's a great series here no one's reading.
This feels exactly like that Flash, how it's like no one will talk about it, and then Christopher Campbell will get like headliner on like a big Marvel event, and everyone will be like, oh, it's all connected to that Iron Man book he did, and everyone will go read it, and it's just excellent.
Hell, I forget who was trying to tell me the other day where it's like, oh, Joshua Williamson's not that great. His Flash run wasn't even that spectacular. I'm like, motherfucker, he ran it longer than anyone else
Yeah.
in the new, in the DC Rebirth era. He must have been doing something right.
He ran from Rebirth, like, he finished out the series.
Yeah. And now he's writing everything at DC.
Yeah. He's doing something right.
Again, he must be doing something right there. Though someone actually came in after that and said something interesting where it's like, do we really love Joshua Williamson's work as much as we think we do? Or do we love him as a fixer of things we didn't like? And I'm like, he can do both.
Yeah, I love him as a writer. He's good.
It was Shadow War. It was the last issue of Shadow War. I'm like, wow, this was really fucking disappointing, this whole thing.
Well, again, because you could tell he was focusing on Dark Crisis.
Dark Crisis. I would think so, yeah. Also, I didn't know this, but his Batman book is still going on. I still haven't read his newest Batman book.
I'm reading that later on today. Yeah, I think that's the last issue of his run before Zdarsky takes over, I think.
Yes, I believe so. I went through it. I'm like, what? This actually came out? I thought the next one wasn't going to be till Zdarsky. I flipped through it and I saw Abyss was in it again. And I'm like, all right, I can shove this one down the pile a little bit. This doesn't seem important. And no one's like, hey, Joel, when are you going to do the next Batman? When are you going to do the next Batman? So I guess I made the right choice. What I did read this week that everyone was clamoring for, though, was I read Young Justice Targets #1, the continuation of the TV show.
Oh, nice.
Yep, picks up basically exactly where the show left off. We get a story about Beast Boy, who got dragged through the fucking ringer in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor's guilt and, like, depression, and, like, he had a fucking sleeping pill addiction.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they took him to some dark-ass places in season 4. His queen girlfriend broke up with him, so now they all, like, gotta go save her from Count Vertigo and everything, who got broken out of jail by a bunch of robots that also have Vertigo tech.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that's a whole thing. It's also kind of a big Roy Harper-centric story, because as we find out, Roy Harper, this is the one who was, like, the clone from season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it turns out he was actually there the night Queen Perdita's father was killed by Sportsmaster, and he was unable to save him because Sportsmaster activated the Broken Arrow clone protocol and basically shut him off.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, oh, wow, you're tying it all the way back to, like, season 1. Holy shit. And the idea is he really wants to protect the queen because he feels bad about everything that happened. And this is, like, his chance to redeem himself.
Okay.
Also, what is it? Matt Hagen Clayface is a good guy now in this because apparently there was an audio drama for Young Justice I didn't read.
Okay, an audio drama, all right.
Yes, there was an audio drama I did not read. Thank you to the Young Justice wiki that tweeted at me. It's like, actually, here it is, Joel, if you want to listen to it. Yeah, apparently there's been, like, a whole Clayface story from, like, the old comic tie-ins to this audio drama to this new comic tie-in.
Jesus.
There is a lot of stuff happening in Young Justice, and I thought I knew it all, but apparently I do not.
It's just funny, because you always see people complaining that there's not enough stuff happening, but there's a lot of stuff happening.
There really is. It's just spread out all over the damn place.
Yeah.
Also, that video game they made that apparently told a really important story, but, like, no one got a chance to play it because A, it wasn't very good, and B, it was on old hardware at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I kept meaning to make a video on that, actually, where it's like, look, I'm just going to watch all the cutscenes, and I'm going to make a video about it because I feel like not enough people actually watched it or played it. But, yeah, so that was that. Young Justice, pretty solid. Again, they released it just right. They released it just after season 4 ended. I'm like, good, this is how you do it. This is how you keep interest.
Yeah, well, that was probably planned.
It was. Every other time they did it, there was, like, a huge gap in between. I'm like, really, you're doing it now?
Yeah.
This is the wrong time to do it.
Yeah.
But it's good. I'm about it. I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah. What else did you have, Matt?
Well, I had the lead into Marvel's big event, Judgment Day.
Right, which I'm going to have to read because I'm so far behind.
The final issue of Eternals plus the free comic book day stuff that came out for for Judgment Day. And yeah, it's a doozy. It's a doozy.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah, so we learned at the end of the Eternals book, Thanos gets defeated. They, like, find out that like Thanos is Prime Eternal and Droog's been helping him, but Droog has been, like, dealing with Thanos behind his back, and he ended up installing like a protocol
Fucking Droog.
that when Thanos activated Uranos's army that would destroy the entire world, it also activated Phastos' safety in Thanos that would kill him or like disable him. And in this last issue, he ends up turning into like, I don't know what the fuck he turns into. He turns into like what fucking that dude from Akira turns into. Like, just gets all fucked up and big and like
flesh monster.
Yeah, and Droog ends up pushing him back into the time stream because Thanos' plan was he was going to activate the device to destroy Earth and then just disappear into the time stream and go
catch me here, fuckers.
Go fuck up everything else. But yeah, he ends up getting ditched into the time stream to appear wherever. Throughout all this, the Eternals had to sneak into Avengers Mountain to find some deviant schematics to help defeat Thanos, which is how the Avengers learn that Thanos was actually on Earth and technically the ruler of Earth as well as Eternal Prime. So they're not too happy with the Eternals, and the Eternals aren't, helping them. But it's great because Cersei has a great line where Tony is like, we own Earth. Like, you should have told us. And she's like, haha, bitch, please. While Odin was drinking himself into a stupor, we were becoming adults, and we fucking own the Earth. We're a pretty good landlord, Oh,
I like that. I like that a lot. Super dick measuring.
And then in the free comic book day, at the end of the Eternals issue 12, Droog becomes the new Eternal Prime, because he's like the next in line with how it goes. Right. And he wants to find he's got the deviant schematics that they stole from the Avengers Mountain, and he's put it into the machine, and he's trying to find out where like other deviants are and like excess deviation and all that. And he's shown two places, and one of those places is Lemuria, which they know of, and they're kind of uneasy allies with them. The other place is Krakoa.
How about that?
Yeah, and then in the free comic book day issue, we kind of get a little bit of like a history of like the Eternals and mutants, and how they're like two species have like kind of been at war with each other for a while. And it all comes back to Uranos, who in a million years in the past shows Odin like a species of monkey that have developed a telepathic hive mind. And Odin's like, oh, it's not technically deviation, it's more of a mutation. And Uranus is like, I don't give a fuck, it's still the same thing. I'm just going to wipe out this entire race. And he does that.
Yeah, it sounds like something he would do.
And we learned that that's sort of like the sort of start to this whole event, where Droog sort of sees it the same way, where it's like, mutants aren't really excess deviation, but they're not excess.
But I don't like them.
Yeah, and it's sort of semantics kind of sort of thing. Which
is totally something Droog would do, and literally that makes the little quote he put out there make a lot more sense. It's like, damn, Droog, I think you're pretty fucking racist is what that sounds like.
But not only that, because the way the Eternals are coded from the Celestials to deal with, they have to deal with excess deviation. That's the one thing he's apparently going to activate in the Eternals, and sort of make it so that they go after mutants now as well.
Right, huh?
So and it looks like
Judgment Day.
Yeah, and it looks like the Avengers are kind of caught in between, sort of having to like kind of protect the mutants, but the mutants don't want protection, and then they've got to deal with the Eternals, who they're uneasy allies with, and
yeah. So we got complicated relationships with all of you.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a thing. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yes, it's pretty cool. I'm intrigued because like the mutants up until like these last two issues weren't really involved with anything like the setup, and then like the setup was like revealed, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense now.
They got a lot of their own shit going on, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, well, fuck, do they ever.
All right, then I had a couple more there. I had Blood Syndicate Season 1, Number 2 this week. Again, more milestone that I'm glad to actually be able to keep up with.
Nice. How's that book been?
Cool. This one especially, I think Issue 2 is actually much better than Issue 1. They do a really interesting thing, because old Blood Syndicate had like 3 leaders, Holocaust, Tech 9, and Y Sun over the years. So each of these issues, I'm assuming, is going to focus on a different one. And because it's a prequel, it's season 1, how all these different gangs coalesce together into forming Blood Syndicate.
Yep.
This one is all about Y's son, and Jeffrey Thorne, who is a lovely guy, by the way, who actually follows me on Twitter, and we chat back and forth every so often. This is kind of Y's son coming back from the war in Afghanistan. He's converted to Islam now, and he has to tell that to, like, his super fire and brimstone abusive preacher father.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they throw him out basically instantly, and they make it, like, very unsubtle, where it's like, hey, kids, why do people join gangs in their youth? Usually because something's fucked up at home and they're not getting the love and camaraderie there, so they run the streets and get it elsewhere.
Wow, yeah, okay.
And I'm like, shit, that's a very nuanced take on gang culture, which is basically what the whole book is about, because issue 1 was about Tech 9 being like, yeah, I joined a gang basically just because it was the block I grew up on, and all my friends were already in gangs, so I was already affiliated whether I wanted to be or not. And I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. That's a very adult take on this sort of thing. And yeah, we see Holocaust, who's trying to gather together more of the Bang Baby metahumans to join him. He literally gives a speech that is basically word for word Cyrus from the Warriors. One gang could rule this city. We could tax the cops and the syndicates. You know, in the future I see there's no colors, there's no sets, there's no turf, there's just one king. Can you dig it? And they don't, and he kills them all with fire powers. I was like,
oh no.
Yeah, I don't fucking need you, actually. You can follow me or not, because I'm basically a god at this point. I might as well be a god. So yeah, it's very fun. They're also got like this mystery thing going on, because Y's son and Tech 9 came back to America with Bang Baby powers, and that's confusing everyone. They're like, wait, but you weren't there at the Big Bang. How do you have powers? Clearly, it seems to be Alva Industries, you know, the same stuff they tried to weaponize against protesters. They also weaponized against overseas enemies.
Okay.
It's not much of a stretch. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They're just dropping their toxic juice wherever they can find it to see if it works.
Yeah.
Though, interestingly, only a handful of people survived the weapons test, which is interesting. Most of them died.
Yeah, okay.
Which was not the case, when the police used it on protesters in the Static book. And I'm like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Blood Syndicate, cool book. I like it.
Nice.
A lot of good stuff going on there. Milestone goes from strength to strength. Hardware is done, too, so I plan to go back and read Brandon Thomas's Hardware as well.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I think they're all finished now. Blood Syndicate is going, and I think there's going to be a Black History issue, too.
Cool.
I don't know what that one's going to do in connection to all the other ones, but basically it's like, hey, here's more Milestone because you like it. I think it's going to be like literally like, here's the history of this world as it relates to people with superpowers.
Yeah, okay.
Which I like. What else did you have, Matt?
I had X-Men Red issue 3.
Okay, everyone was raving about this one. I had multiple people asking me what I thought about it, and I'm like, ooh, Matt reads that one, not me. I can't wait to pick his brain about it on the show. What's so amazing about this one, Matt? Why was everyone losing their minds?
Oh, they have every right to. So this is the big, it's Tarn versus Vulcan, because Vulcan, on behalf of Abigail Brand, has challenged Tarn, the Undying, on... for the Great Ring. He wants to join the Great Ring, and to do that he has to challenge someone because of Araco rule and everything, and Brand wants to install one of her own persons onto the because Brand works for Orchis now.
Yes.
And yeah, so he's like, they're dealing with that while the Brotherhood are sort of, they like know that Brand is doing this, and they're trying to like sort out like, okay, so how are we going to deal with this? Because it's like a rock and a hard place, because you have Tarn, who is like the remnants of like what Araco used to be, and is like the thing that's kind of holding them back from like evolving into something new, because they own a planet now. He's like keeping them down and everything, and they want to get rid of him, but whoever gets rid of him has to take their place. But they don't want Vulcan to do that, because Vulcan works for Brand, and he's even worse because he's a mentally unstable Krakoan who is technically part of the Summers family as royalty, but also the Shi'ar royalty.
Yes, he's also very much connected to
really
them, which it'd be really bad for space politics to put him anywhere.
So they're trying to find someone else to challenge Tarn, and they turn to Magneto, and Magneto's like, no, I came to Krakoa, came to Arakko to retire and like escape all of this shit. I am not doing this. Like, I understand like the rules and everything about it, but I don't want. I escaped Krakoa to get rid of the Quiet Council, and you're basically asking me to go on
to join a new council.
The Arakko's version of a Quiet Council. I don't want any of that. And Storm's trying to pressure him, and he has this great thing where he kind of compares Storm to Xavier, and how he was kind of pressured into helping Xavier form the Utopia and everything. And we get a cool thing about him, how he joined that he joined creating Krakoa, and then like Wanda came up and made the waiting room, which is like the mutant heaven where they can access.
Yes, I remember that.
Where they can get like now mutants who have been long dead, like Thunderbird, and bring them back to life. But he can't ever bring back his first daughter Anya because she wasn't a mutant.
Yeah.
So he's always,
I forgot about her.
So he's always stuck with this visage of her dying in a fire, and there's nothing he can do about it or anything. So it's always broken him up. So he doesn't want anything to do with that. So the fight goes ahead with Vulcan and Tarn. Tarn's power, which is he's basically a weapon thief. They call him a weapon thief because he can steal other mutants' powers.
Right.
He doesn't.
He's the Locus Vile guy, right? Tarn the Uncaring.
Yeah. He looks like kind of like a Gore.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. And he actually ends up getting his powers stolen by Vulcan because Vulcan can source energy from anywhere, including mutants' powers. But that doesn't stop Vulcan from being killed. And Vulcan gets killed very violently, and it's only now that Magneto turns up and decides to challenge Tarn, and he does this really fucking great thing where he's fighting Tarn and he puts his helmet on Tarn's head.
Shit.
And it blocks out Tarn's thoughts.
So
that's he can't use it. And then he crushes it and kills Tarn.
Nice.
So he's now forced to take Tarn's spot on the Great Ring.
That's fucking metal as hell.
Yeah.
That's really goddamn it. Yeah, I can see why people thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and while all this is going on as well, we got like a little battle in like the stands because Roberto was like challenging Iska. Iska's the one who can't lose the battle. He was like fucking with her a little bit, and so it was kind of like to I took it as like him distracting Tarn, like because something was happening in the crowd sort of thing. So Magneto can just like decide to like, I'll put my helmet on his head and now he won't ever be able to like use his powers, and then I'll just like crush the helmet and it'll kill him.
Damn.
Yeah, so Magneto is now on the Great Ring, the Great Ring of Arakko, and I don't know what that means for Brand and her people.
Seems to me like there could almost be building up to a war between Arakko and Krakoa, right? Because it's like, well, you know, we're the same, but we're different, and we have a lot of different ideas. In fact, that kind of seems to be the big theme of Destiny of X. You know, these people trying to live together despite having their cultures that are different but the same. Nightcrawler is dealing with that in Legion of X because he has to basically bring back a big Arakko religious criminal, but he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And their Pope basically has said, like, look, you can either do this or I'll go and I'll kill everyone. So, you know, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you guys aren't very nice.
Yeah, I they kind of alluded to that in, like, the second issue of X-Men Red, where, like, Brand's team kind of also comes to blow with the Brotherhood, because the Brotherhood came to protect them against the progenitors, and her team was just, like, ruined everything because they just like ran in and just like tried to force people to move, and it was just like a big fuck up.
Damn. Yeah, they're definitely building up to some crazy stuff. I'm not reading as many X-Men books as I was. I kind of dropped Wolverine. I kind of dropped X Factor and Marauders and everything, and now I feel like, damn, I wish I'd stuck with Sword and X-Men Red, because it sounds like that's where all the shit's happening, all the big shit.
Yeah, I'm so glad I stuck with it as well, because yeah, I'm just reading X-Men Red because it's literally just a continuation of Sword.
Yeah,
it's all the same characters, you know, with like the addition of like more Arakko characters this time through, but yeah, it's pretty much the exact same thing.
I think Knights of X starts this week, which is the continuation of like the magical characters and everything.
That I I don't really care for that stuff about
Me
like
neither. I
Araco and all that sort of stuff. I just don't care about it.
Yeah, mutants and magic never did it for me either. I
Nah.
tried to care, and in the end, it actually ended up being super important to X of Swords because that
Yeah,
was like the
yeah,
backbone
yeah,
of their first crossover. It's like, oh, you really expected me to care more about this than I did.
yeah. I think it was in that book or in another book they're going after Red Root because Red Root is still technically stuck in
Yes, that's right. The
Otherworld.
magical dimension. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
because
yes,
that was
yes. Which
also in X-Men Red as well.
yeah, and a hanging plot thread from X of Swords
Yeah,
as well. Where it's like, yeah, you left one of your own behind.
yeah,
Fucking, I think Mad Jim Jaspers had him. That's a whole big
yes,
thing.
yes,
Weird throwback character that
yeah.
no one talks about anymore. Last one I had this week was the Jurassic League.
Yes, I had this one as well.
Not really much to talk about. It is just the Justice League is dinosaurs. It's
Yeah.
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and it's like the writers are just taking the dinosaurs and smashing them together, and it's fucking awesome.
It's the best Saturday morning cartoon you've never seen. It's the best toy line that doesn't exist but totally should exist.
Yep.
It's all those things and more. You know, Supersaurus wants to help people, and he does with his arms and his tail, which is a great image.
Yep.
Batsaurus doesn't like the little kid he's adopted, but obviously the little kid is sticking with him anyway
Because you can't understand him and everything.
Because you can't understand, and he's definitely gonna be Cave Boy Robin because you just know.
Yep.
You just know they're going there. They introduce a couple more villains. The Reverse Slash, which is kind of fucking funny. I like that. He's a turtle, but he's super fast.
Yes, yeah.
And Atrocosaurus, who looks great as a dinosaur.
Yeah, it looks just like Atrocitus, you know?
Yeah, just with a big dinosaur head. And, you know, the Batsaurus and Supersaurus don't like each other at first because they see the world in two completely different ways. But they decide to join forces, and at the end, they meet up with Wonder Dawn, who does the cool sword and shield thing, only it's dinosaur stuff now.
Yeah, it's great. And they also allude to maybe, like, that thing that brings Jokerzard back to life is, like, the Lazarus Pit, but, like, mixed with, like, Parasite?
Or Darkseid, maybe?
Because it, like, feeds off... Well, I think Darkseid's the Dark Embryo.
Yeah, they call it the Dark Embryo, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, the tree, like, sucks energy from, like, people they've captured to, like, feed... other people.
If this was any other writer, I'd say, man, you know, narratively this is kind of thin, but when the art is this good and telling the story the way it is, it's like, okay, you know what, Daniel Warren Johnson, you get a pass because this is definitely the sort of story where the style is the substance.
Yeah, well, and again, they never like sold it as like some deep, you know, character like treatise or anything. It's just like it's two fucking it's dinosaurs, but they're like the Justice League.
It is exactly what it's exactly what it says on the tin. Chemdog in the chat reminded me, hey, did you read Do a Powerbomb #1? Yeah, I guess Daniel Warren Johnson had a wrestling comic that came out this week, and I've had a couple people ask me about it. No, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, chat. I don't know what the crossover would be like on the channel. Would people give a shit about it? But yeah, it certainly sounds like something up my alley, and definitely something Daniel Warren Johnson loves because he puts wrestling moves in all of his comics.
Yeah, everything.
In everything. Oh my god, I watched the first hour of Everything All at Once there. I only got the first hour because it's a long movie before we started, but man, seeing Jamie Lee Curtis do fucking missile drop kicks and backbreakers is pretty fucking sick.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's like, I didn't know this was going to be in the movie, but I'm very happy about it. I'm all about this. Again, I'm only an hour deep, but I'm liking what I've seen.
Nice.
Very, very fun movie. Well worth all the talk about it and being like A24's like biggest cash cow of the year.
Yeah.
Also, an interesting spiritual sibling to Multiverse of Madness. They tackle many of the same themes, do they not?
Yes, I remember people were talking about those two films endlessly. It's like, oh, one's a better multiverse movie than the other.
And I'm like, they don't really have to be. They can actually both complement each other, and I think they do. The villain in both movies are basically like, yes, I was freed from morality when I became aware of the multiverse and became an omniversal being. Why should I care about what's right or wrong when it doesn't matter what I do in the greater scheme of things?
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's something very profound about both takes on that, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go check that one out if you haven't, everyone. And that's everything I read this week. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's about everything I've read.
Yeah, big week, but we liked everything we read.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for coming and hanging out and watching with us and everything. We really appreciate it. Before we let you go, though, remember that you can become a patron and listen back to this in audio and video form first before anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The show usually goes up Wednesday at 8 a.m. And if you are listening to this show on Wednesday, here's some books out today that you can read. Nightwing, number 93.
Ooh, excellent.
Flash, 783. This is this a Dark Crisis tie-in? Yes, it is actually.
Yes, it will be.
I don't know how it's going to tie in, but it is.
Yep.
Amazing Spider-Man, number 4. X-Men, number 12. World's Finest, number 4.
Nice.
That one's nearing the end, but we know even when that one's done, that one's not going to be done because we keep hearing about Devil Knees High and so many other things.
Yeah, we do.
New Mutants 26. Miles Morales Spider-Man 39. He's doing another Spider-Verse thing, fighting an evil version of himself in another world, and there is going to be another Spider-Verse book in time for the movie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got Immortal X-Men 3, Batman The Knight number 6.
Oh, nice.
Which you and I are both really enjoying, and I can't wait to see what they do there. Dark Crisis Young Justice number 1.
Oh, fantastic.
So we are getting some Dark Crisis tie-ins finally. New Fantastic Four number 1. That's Grey Hulk, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider.
Wow, already this. But technically, the Fantastic Four book hasn't finished yet because it's still doing Reckoning War.
I feel like this is an untold tale of the new Fantastic Four because it's them hey, remember when we did this?
Yeah. Okay.
We got Black Adam number 1. That Christopher Priest book.
Ooh, nice. Yes.
I will be very interested to see what we do with that because Christopher Priest, again, when they had him do the U.S. Agent book, it's like, hey, so you're going to write something that's like the show, right? Yeah. And also I'm just going to do my own fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm going to make it really fucking cool.
Yeah. Christopher Priest is famous for that, too. Like when he was writing Damian in like that Deathstroke Batman crossover. It's like, yeah, I haven't paid attention to new Damian shit. I just did what I wanted. Sue me. Sue me, you fucking nerds.
They let him.
Yeah. He's like, sue me, you fucking nerds. Marvel Voices of Pride number 1. I guess they're finally doing their Pride story, which, man, I hope it's better than their one last year because, man, once again, I think DC ate their fucking lunch when it came to Pride offerings. Not only did you get a great collection, but you got like 4 other new minis.
Yep.
Punisher War Journal Blitz. This is like a little side story there for Punisher, Leader of the Hand. I cannot believe this is getting tie-ins, but it is.
Yeah, okay.
Earth Prime number 6, Heroes Twilight. We got Magog there sitting on the throne.
Yeah, that'll be the last issue.
Yes, absolutely. Miles Morales and Moon Girl number 1. Is that a thing? I guess it is.
Okay.
I guess that's the thing. Aquaman and the Flash Void Song. Yeah, they're getting
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been waiting for that.
Oh, here we go. Milestones in History. Yes, this comes out this week. This is what I was talking about. They're like Black History Month thing.
Nice.
But it's more than that because it's like Black history through the lens of Muslim. I don't actually know what it is. It looks experimental, and I might have to check it out. And yeah, that's it, everyone. So yeah, goddamn, this is another big week. We had it easy, Matt. We had it fucking easy this week with everything we're talking about. Now we get to do it all over again.
Yeah.
Also, hey, pick up Best Archie Comic Ever from new friend to the show there, Ruben Nahara. Thank you, everyone who watched that interview. I know when I put up something with Archie, it's like, this one could go either way. But everyone who did listen to it really seemed to enjoy it.
Nice. Awesome.
So that's good. So thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. As always, we have a lot of fun entertaining you. And we'll be back again next week to do the same thing. Maybe it'll be Saturday. Maybe it'll be Sunday. We don't know. We'll be sure to try and let you know on Twitter, which is why you should follow Matt and I on Twitter so you always know what's happening.
Definitely.
Oh, Juneteenth, Functorial says it's a Juneteenth special. Yep, that checks. Yep. Derp, I'm fucking dumb. Yeah, of course it's a Juneteenth special. Why wouldn't it be? Good timing. All right then, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.